Corporate governance, or more broadly organizational governance, encompasses, according to Carotte, a French pioneer in research on the subject, all the mechanisms that define the discretionary space of the leader, or in other words, what governs their conduct. It is therefore a counterbalance to the leader's capacity for action. One of the most studied governance mechanisms is the board of directors. A governance code is therefore a set of recommendations that, according to these authors, ensures the implementation of good governance practices. Today, there are several hundred such codes around the world, sometimes several per country. This is the case in France today, where the financial markets regulator recognizes two codes, the AFEP-MEDEF Code and the Middlenext Code. These governance codes fall under what is known in law as soft law or non-binding law. Indeed, the term code can be misleading since it is not a law resulting from a legislative process, but rather a self-regulatory text created by employers' organizations. The recommendations of the governance codes are applied according to the principle of comply or explain, meaning apply or explain. Listed companies are therefore required to declare each year whether they comply with the recommendations of the codes. They are allowed to deviate from them, but must justify their choice. Despite the lack of legal obligation, empirical studies show that governance codes are now applied by a large majority. This is due to the strong pressure exerted by market participants. The origin of these governance codes in Europe dates back to the early 1990s, with the Cadbury Report, which was London's response to one of the financial scandals involving major companies. France was then the first country in continental Europe. It formalized such a code under the name Viennot Report, which was published in 1995 under the auspices of the Employers' Union. This document is regularly updated under the name AFEP-MEDEF Code. Often published in response to various financial scandals, governance codes regularly aim to regulate various potential conflicts of interest, also called agency conflict between the manager and the other stakeholders of the company, including the various types of shareholders. Among the central recommendations of governance codes is typically the requirement for a high proportion or even a majority of independent directors on boards of directors. Nevertheless, one can question the relevance of a single model to be applied to companies and organizations of very different natures. The French financial markets regulator thus allows listed companies to opt for an alternative code, known as the Middlenext Code, whose recommendations are intended to allow governance practices to be adapted to the company's particular situation in terms of size, structure, shareholding, etc.